Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
Oh, you got a good pop, Dave.
I know, a rare Dave Collins good pop.
I know.
What are we having, H?
Well, I can't see the bottle label.
And it's the one I told you that...
You've told me that it's the Pappy of Rye. It's a Midwinter Night's Dram from...
What's from High West?
High West. There you go. Wow, it's a cool bottle too.
Yeah, you're right, it's a cool bottle. Here, have a look at the colour on that thing.
Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful colour.
That's a nice colour. Do you want to know where the colour comes from?
You can tell me in a sec.
Okay, all right, well, I won't rush into it then.
No, I was going to cheers first.
Oh, cheers.
Wow. Where does the colour come from? Because that smells like currants and raisins, and it's like someone's making Christmas pudding and they're soaking the fruit.
Righto, there we go. Keep talking because you're getting it right.
This is all guesswork because I have done no research on this one and don't know anything about it, so I'm asking you all the questions tonight.
A Midwinter Night's Dram is a rye. So let's begin with that, right? And it's a mix of this particular one. So this one's Act 11. It's a blend of two different ryes. One's 95.5, so 95% rye, 5% malted barley. Yep. And the other one's 80-20, I'm pretty sure that's right, which is, again, 80% rye, 20% malted barley. So it's pretty close to what people call that classic 95.5. But they finish it in...
Well, I was just about to say...
You were getting the colours, the flavours right.
Well, no, because the smell made me think of having a drink of port at your dad's place.
They're finished in port barrels,
and
Tawny and Ruby
port barrel. There you go. I was like, that's...
And that's where that colour comes from. Look at that colour. My goodness gracious me.
So deep.
So, but it's a rye still.
Yeah, but I'm really proud of my nose.
Well,
because I got the flavours and the port, and then I read it on the label afterwards.
Well, good. Yeah, congratulations.
Like,
yeah, you're really good at this. Don't worry. So, it's kind of the Pappy of rye is a bit of a stupid thing to say, but that's kind of the way people will describe this. In the States, this one is actually probably more pronounced.
Where
here.
did we get this one?
It's
Dave?
really easy for us to get here in Australia, but
great.
Quite hard to get in the US. And it's definitely not to carry the same price tag as Pappy, but because of its rarity or because it's kind of a bit scarcity maybe is the right term, a lot of people kind of they're really sought after the Midwinter Night's Dram, or they certainly have been, the earlier releases.
And they've named it perfectly, but like you want to be sitting in front of a fire and it's nearly midnight and like have some chocolate.
Something about a Colorado snowstorm.
So
I can't remember what that one was. But yeah.
Well, if you like
that's what
port,
they describe the finish as a beautifully long Colorado winter hug. Lasting notes of rye, spice, plum, and port.
Well, yeah, I got the spices and the fruitiness. It's really like Christmas cake. You almost want it. It's like you could eat it with a delicious slice of fruit cake. Because that's...
Do you know one of the things for me about rye? I'm such a bourbon drinker and I'm such a goose about this. I like ryes that are Kentucky-style ryes, so like what you get with your Michter's rye, which is...
What about your peelers? Do you like their rye?
Yep.
So what's different about that rye compared to this rye?
The mash bill is not 95.5. And I could be wrong about peelers because I don't know that mash bill off the top of my head, but I reckon that's closer to... Kentucky-style rye is that thing where you push the rye amount right down close to the 51%.
Yeah.
So and then you put in the other grains.
Yeah. So it's only kind of just tips over the rye.
And you could put a lot of corn in there if you wanted to, or like you can do what you want with it, but it needs to be 51%. That's how That's how you get the classification. So I like that, and then I like things like seagrass, which is that again finished in different barrels.
Yeah. Well, the finishing this in the port barrel, I think, is beautiful because if you're a port drinker and you haven't tried bourbon, this would be a fabulous introduction.
If you're a port drinker and you haven't tried bourbon, and burn your mouth off. But I suppose, yeah.
No, I'm just like, I don't know, like your dad would like this because he likes port.
Okay. Well, I should whip it out next time he's around.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I feel bad that I haven't.
You really should.
It's more pronounced. The port on this is more pronounced than on an Angel's Envy, for example, though,
yes,
right?
yeah, and they're finished in port barrels as well.
They are. You're right.
Yeah. But this, just the smell, I could sit here smelling it all night. It just smells like Christmas and currants and raisins, and it's really good.
Shout out to the boys on the Bourbon Lens podcast because they are massive High West fans, like huge High West fans, and like across all the expressions. But Midwinter Night's Dram is kind of like the famous rye expression of theirs. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it. To be honest, I think I'm probably this. And when we go to Kentucky Bourbon Fest, I'm the person who says I'm really more of a bourbon drinker, but I'll try your rye. And everyone goes, oh, but a lot of bourbon drinkers like this rye, and I often like what they pour.
Yeah, so I think maybe you've just like put yourself in that.
Do you think
category.
I'm underselling myself?
Yeah, I think you should go this year when we go. You should just straight up try the Ryes first.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got the notes right, by the way. Holiday plum pudding,
love
brimming
it.
with mulling spices, dried fruits.
Again, me just winging it. Dave doing his actual research.
Well, what? So am I in trouble for having done research, or am I in
No.
trouble for not putting the kids to bed?
No. I think it's great. I've put the kids to bed. You've done your research, and I've guessed correctly.
So
haven't misinformed our listeners.
age 4 to 7 years, and then it's finished in the port barrels. But I reckon that it must have a good bit of time in the port barrels to get that amount of influence.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on how long. Because be interesting to see how long these guys leave it in.
Yeah, well, we don't know.
To the people at Angel's Envy.
Well, I think it's going to be longer, surely. But I also wonder, maybe the rye takes on the port flavours more quickly than a.
They've got a quote from A Midsummer Night's Dream on the back.
Well, did you know
That's great.
about the William Shakespeare play Midsummer Night's
Yeah.
Dream? Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what the play on is. What's
I
the
know,
quote?
but-
What's the quote?
Are you sure that we are awake? It seems to me that yet we sleep, we dream. That's pretty good.
I've had probably just the right amount of drinks to need to stop and ponder that for a bit.
You stop and ponder that, Dave, while I enjoy this delicious drop.
What are the listeners going to do?
They can
Enjoy their own drop of that?
enjoy their own drop of that, or find the most, or see if there's any bottles on their shelf that have a port barrel finish.
Finishing port barrel.
Yeah, Angel's Envy's the one I know off the top of my head, but I don't know. Maybe you've got a bottle sitting on your shelf at home that
I know
is
that
finished
we're
in a
not
port barrel.
intellects when it comes to this stuff.
Really, Dave?
Yeah.
That's probably the most accurate thing you've said all night.
But people talk about over oaking bourbon. This bourbon might be over oaked or
Yeah,
whatever.
but sometimes-
And it's obviously only one individual's opinion of that because someone else thought that was perfect and that's why they put it in a bottle.
It depends what you like. People who don't like that port barrel finish would hate this.
Is it because? And maybe I've had. There's two things I suppose. Maybe I've had different expression or different releases of Angel's Envy where I felt like there was more port barrel influence. But there's some like the one that's on my shelf at the moment. I've tried to look for what tastes like port like this one, and I haven't been able to find it. And I know it's there, and I know it's got a unique flavour profile, and I know it's different, and I know that there's some fruitiness to it, for example, but it doesn't really have that portiness. But I've had a bottle of Angel's Envy in the past where I've gone, yep, that's like
You can taste the
bourbon and port.
Yeah. But it would depend on the time they leave it in the barrel too.
Yeah, but
Or how long the port was left in the barrel maybe.
but this is what I'm saying, is at what point does the influence of the finishing barrel become too much? I'm not saying it is here. I'm just asking.
Well, it would depend on who's drinking it, Dave. Because some people would love it over oaked and very porty, and other people might be like, I do not like when the port flavour really comes through, or I do not like it too oaky.
Yeah.
So it depends, Dave.
When you go to Utah, I think there's two. Is it parks in Utah? When we go to Utah on our next business trip.
When, like, everyone's just off to Utah.
You can zip up and see them, and there is, I think, some experiences, and I think there's a cool bar and restaurant, and I feel like it's up in the mountains, but I don't know enough. We haven't been there.
Why have we not been here?
Yeah, well, we'll go. High West, they've got lots of expressions, and you can get lots of the High West expressions here, and they've got like s'more flavours and campfires and stuff like that. So, now you're getting angry that I haven't got more bottles here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get more bottles
I
of
want
that.
a small flavour.
Okay.
Well, the good thing about it is when they say like finish in a port barrel and it's got that port flavour, it actually does have that really good port flavour.
Okay.
So if they say it's got small flavour, pretty sure that I can trust them to taste delicious.
Sounds like I'm off to the shops. Cheers.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.